defect, a physical problem or flaw. The doctor assured them that the baby's minor birth defect could be easily treated. Contouring, a technique used to outline or define facial features. She used expert contouring to enhance her facial features for the photo shoot. Cutlets, padded inserts used in clothing to enhance shape. She placed chicken cutlets in her dress to give it a better shape. Trashy, of poor quality or low social value. He criticized her trashy dress for being inappropriate for the formal event. Bankroll, to support a person or activity financially. The wealthy man had to sell his assets to bankroll his gambling habit. Outrageous, shockingly bad or excessive. The rumor about his financial debt was an outrageous lie. Enchanting, delightfully charming or attractive. He greeted the lady by telling her she had an enchanting name. Fudge, a polite expression used instead of a swear word. Get the fudge out of here before things get worse. Yachts, large luxurious boats used for pleasure. Rich people often enjoy hosting lavish parties on their private yachts. Irony, a situation that is strange because things happen in an opposite way to expectation. The complete irony of the situation was that his friend was the one to blame. Premium, of very high quality. The chef only buys premium-grade meat for his restaurant. Auction, a public sale in which goods are sold to the highest bidder. The rare items will be put up for auction tomorrow morning. Epilepsy, a neurological disorder marked by sudden seizures. The doctor explained that epilepsy is a cruel medical condition to manage. Overhear, to hear someone's conversation without their knowledge. I could not help but overhear your conversation while sitting nearby. Treacherous, guilty of or involving betrayal or deception. She found herself caught in a treacherous plot designed by her enemies. Predicament, a difficult or unpleasant situation. He offered to help his friend get out of a financial predicament. Exploit, to take unfair advantage of a person or situation. Some people will see your kindness as a weakness and exploit you. Scab, to beg or obtain something without paying. She asked if she could scab a ride home since her car broke down. Baguette, a long, narrow loaf of French bread. He bought a fresh baguette from the bakery for breakfast. Gypsy, a member of a traveling people traditionally living by fortune-telling. The traveler met a mysterious gypsy who offered to read his palm. Grifter, a person who engages in petty swindling or fraud. The clever grifter managed to trick the wealthy man out of his money. Poacher, a person who illegally hunts on someone else's land. The forest guard spotted a poacher trying to hunt rabbits in the area. Defiled, damaged or spoiled in terms of purity. The sacred temple was defiled by the invaders during the war. Corpse, a dead body, especially of a human being. The pale woman looked as still and silent as a corpse. Swindled, cheated out of money or property. He realized too late that he had been swindled by a professional con artist. Prominent, important or famous. The businessman is a prominent figure in the local community. Liquidity, the availability of cash assets. The company needs more liquidity to cover its immediate expenses. Inconspicuous, not clearly visible or attracting attention. The spy tried to stay as inconspicuous as possible in the crowded room. Henchmen, faithful followers, especially those prepared to engage in crime. The criminal boss sent his henchmen to threaten the shop owners. Butlery, matters related to a butler service. The new servant was trained in fine butlery to serve the royal guests. Leggings, tight-fitting stretch pants worn by women. She wore comfortable black leggings and a sweater for her flight. Thongs, minimalist underwear or sandals. She packed her favorite silk thongs for the weekend trip. Pantsuit, a pair of pants and a matching jacket worn by women. The female executive looked very professional in her tailored pantsuit. Intolerant, unable to accept or endure a certain food or situation. He claims he is salad intolerant because he hates eating vegetables. Menswear, clothing designed for men. The department store has a large section dedicated entirely to modern menswear. Pegging, a specific type of adult sexual practice. They discussed alternative adult relationships and practices like pegging during the conversation. Threesome, a group of 3 people engaged in an activity together. The wild party guests joked about having a threesome in the hotel room. Compelling, evoking interest or attention in an irresistible way. There is nothing more compelling to an audience than a great mystery story. Vulnerable, susceptible to physical or emotional harm. The con artist targeted the vulnerable woman to gain her trust. Constipated, affected with constipation or blocked up. He looked so uncomfortable that his friend asked if he was constipated. Theatrics, dramatic or exaggerated behavior. Stop all the theatrics and just tell me the simple truth. Trinkets, small ornaments or items of jewelry of little value. The tourists bought cheap trinkets from the local street vendors. Resuscitation, the act of reviving someone from unconsciousness. The lifeguard performed immediate resuscitation on the drowning victim. Braggadocio, boastful or arrogant behavior. His arrogant braggadocio made everyone at the holiday dinner feel uncomfortable. Despise, to feel deep repugnance or contempt for something. She claims to despise everything that the corrupt politician represents. She. Elaborate, involving many carefully arranged details. The criminals planned an elaborate scheme to rob the museum. Endearments, words expressing affection. She was helpless against her partner's sweet and food-themed endearments. Tetanus, a serious bacterial disease affecting muscles. You should check if your tetanus vaccination is up to date after that cut. Level-headed, calm, and sensible. She remained level-headed and made smart decisions during the crisis. Coronet, a small crown worn by nobility. The princess was warned not to drop her gold coronet during the ceremony. Heirlooms, valuable family objects passed down through generations. The family passed down precious heirlooms from one generation to the next. Invoke, to call on an ancient law or authority for justification. The king decided to invoke an ancient law to protect his land. Consummates, completes a marriage by sexual intercourse. The marriage is officially recognized once the couple consummates it. Duel, a prearranged combat between 2 people to settle a dispute. The 2 angry men challenged each other to a duel to settle their honor. Courtiers, companions or advisors who attend a royal court. The royal courtiers watch the official performance and judge the actors. Sloppy, careless, or unsystematic. He apologized for his sloppy mistakes on the final report. Intrusion, the act of wrongly entering a situation or space. Pardon the intrusion, but I need to ask you a quick question. Expressly, explicitly or clearly forbidden or ordered. The teacher expressly forbade the students from using phones during class. Peasants, poor farmers of low social status. The wealthy landlord treated the local peasants with total disrespect. Feral, wild or untamed. The actress had to play the role of a feral princess living in the woods. Prance, to walk with high springy steps in an arrogant manner. She watched him prance around the room acting like he owned the place. Presume, to suppose that something is true based on probability. You will accept payment in cash, I presume, instead of a check. Panther, a large black wild cat. The rare blue panther is a dangerous creature found in the deep jungle. Chameleon, a lizard that changes color to blend in. He is a social chameleon who changes his personality depending on who he is with. Sarcastically, in an ironic or mocking way. She smiled sarcastically when her rival failed to finish the race. Animatronic, robotic or mechanically operated to look alive. The theme park featured a giant animatronic dinosaur that could roar. Wager, a friendly bet made on an outcome. The two friends made a friendly wager on which team would win. Dibs, a claim or right to have something first. I call dibs on the best bedroom in the new house. Thingy, a word used for an object whose name is forgotten. Please hand me that little plastic thingy on the table. Croupier, the person in charge of a gaming table at a casino. The professional croupier collected the chips from the losing players. Scoots, slides over or moves along quickly. If everyone scoots over a bit, we can fit another chair here. Etiquette, the customary code of polite behavior. Proper dining etiquette requires you to keep your elbows off the table. Cleft, split or divided, usually referring to a lip condition. The child underwent successful surgery to repair her cleft lip. Palate, the roof of the mouth. The doctor examined the baby's injured palate to see if it needed surgery. Hysterical, affected by extreme or uncontrolled emotion. She suffered from hysterical blindness after the shocking car accident. Venture, a risky new business undertaking. He invited several investors to fund his new business venture. Appetizer, a small dish served before the main meal. We ordered a delicious garlic bread appetizer before our steaks arrived. Recluse, a person who avoids other people and lives alone. The wealthy old billionaire became a total recluse in his later years. Roulette, a casino gambling game with a spinning wheel. He lost all his chips in one single round at the roulette table. Notion, a general belief or conception about something. This failure only reinforces the notion that our plan was flawed. Kaput, broken or completely ruined. If the machine breaks down again, our whole business will be kaput. Softy, a kind-hearted person who is easily moved. He pretends to be tough, but he is actually a big softy inside. Unorthodox, contrary to traditional or usual methods. The doctor used unorthodox methods to treat the rare disease. Crutch, a physical or emotional support used to cope. You must learn to face your fears without using alcohol as an emotional crutch. Funneling, directing or guiding something through a narrow space. The vents were designed for funneling fresh air directly into the basement. Intervene, to come between a situation to prevent harm. The police decided not to intervene in the family dispute. Loony, foolish or crazy. They thought his crazy business ideas meant he was completely loony. Clinical, relating to the sterile observation or treatment of patients. The room smelled strongly of clinical disinfectants and medicine. Menopause, the natural ceasing of menstruation in older women. She experienced severe mood swings during the early stages of menopause. Leash, a cord or strap used to control a pet. Please hold the dog's leash tightly while walking through the park. Fuzzbox, a device that distorts electric guitar sounds. The rock musician used a fuzzbox to create a unique distorted sound. Bony, very thin with bones showing through the skin. The thin boy sat down and complained about his bony back hurting. Sensual, relating to or involving physical senses or pleasure. The dancers moved in a very sensual way to the slow music. Poppet, a sweet term of endearment for a child or young person. The kind grandmother called her blind granddaughter her little poppet. Interlude, a short intervening period of time or pause. They enjoyed a brief romantic interlude during their busy business trip. Superficial, existing only on the surface and lacking depth. He was only interested in her superficial beauty rather than her personality. Likability, the quality of being easy to like or pleasant. She admitted that this competition was not a likability contest. Ante, a stake or price required to enter a game. We need to up the ante in this game to force them to surrender. Outmatched, defeated by a superior opponent. The amateur team was completely outmatched by the professionals. Tans, darker skin color caused by sun exposure. They spent all summer at the beach to get perfect golden tans. Aphrodisiac, a substance that stimulates sexual desire. Some cultures believe that eating fresh oysters acts as an aphrodisiac. Candid, completely honest and straightforward. I must be completely candid with you about your chances of winning. Pretenses, false appearances, or claims intended to deceive. He confessed that he entered the meeting under false pretenses. Metadata, data that describes or provides information about other data. The web developer realized that the system was not scraping the metadata properly. Parsing, analyzing a string of code or symbols into components. You should try parsing the code separately to find the hidden errors. Reckless, showing a lack of care about danger or consequences. Driving at that speed in the dark was a very reckless thing to do. Integrity, the quality of being honest and morally upright. The honest judge was respected for his professional integrity. Aliases, false identities or names used to hide true identity. The clever criminal used several different aliases to avoid the police. Brutal, extremely harsh or severe. She had a brutal week at work and needed a long rest. Expenses, costs or money spent on something. The company agreed to cover all his medical expenses after the accident. Complied, met a request or obeyed a command. He was unhappy with the strict rules, but he complied anyway. Conniving, secretly plotting to do something immoral. She discovered that her conniving coworkers were trying to take credit for her work. Two-faced, deceitful or insincere. I cannot trust that two-faced person who smiles at me but talks behind my back. Slimy, repulsive or untrustworthy in character. The dishonest salesman was a slimy character who tricked elderly people. Millennial, a person born between the early 1980s and late 1990s. The young millennial hacker managed to bypass the secure database. Prosthetics, artificial body parts or special makeup applications. The movie studio spent a lot of money on special makeup and prosthetics. Caboose, a slang term used for a person's buttocks. The dancer joked about keeping her rock-hard caboose in shape. Dinghy, a small rubber boat used for transport from a ship. They escaped the sinking ship by hopping into a small dinghy. Discreet, careful in speech or actions to avoid causing offense or revealing secrets. The wealthy man hired a discreet investigator to handle the private matter. Enthusiast, a person who is highly interested in a particular topic. As a wildlife enthusiast, she loves spending time taking photos of animals. Springboks, a type of South African gazelle. He traveled to Africa and saw a herd of wild springboks running across the plain. Wrestled, engaged in a physical struggle with an opponent or animal. The brave woman wrestled the large crocodile to save her dog. Malarkey, nonsense or meaningless talk. Don't listen to his explanation, it is all just complete malarkey. Wombat, a plant-eating Australian marsupial. The tourist was bitten by a ferocious wild wombat in Australia. Withhold, to refuse to give something required. She threatened to withhold financial support if he refused to behave. Skulking, keeping out of sight or moving in a stealthy way. Stop skulking in the shadow and come out into the light. Suitor, a man who pursues a relationship with a woman. The young princess rejected every wealthy suitor her father chose. Exhumed, dug out a body from the ground. The police ordered the body to be exhumed for a second autopsy. Trampled, crushed or stepped on heavily by people or animals. The poor farmer was tragically trampled by a herd of running horses.